Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Today I want to make a short video talking about the perils of planning an epic event or scene, knowing your players, and just kind of recounting one of my favorite moments in gaming. I was not the game master in this particular game, and not surprisingly, because a lot of my examples come from this campaign. This was in the Lamentations of the Flame Princess campaign I played in back in 2011, 2012. And so Joe the attorney, Joe the lawyer was our DM, and one of the players was this guy Mark, and Mark was a great guy. He passed away shortly after we wrapped up the campaign in 2012, which is very unfortunate. Nice guy, and actually in his obituary or on the sheet where people sign, tons of people from New York, the places he had lived, talked about him being the most reliable player in their games. Just always showed up. And so Mark was great guy. He was very quiet. He had a bunch of dice all lined up, and they were always lined up with the top faces, facing you. So like you'd have a 20 and a 6 and everything else. It was always like that. So every die had the highest number pointing up. I don't know if it was a luck thing or what it was. Never seen anybody roll dice like this guy ever. Got more. I don't care if they were loaded. I really don't, because he was just, it was amazing to watch. And he was our party fighter, and so he was like, Conan on steroids. The picture of the guy on the Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea box, well, he was more badass. So we're, going on this campaign for quite some time, and I forget all the little details. I'd have to look back in the emails we passed back and forth. I've talked about that before. But we get into this situation where there's this magical sword, some real named, badass sword. And so he wants it. Durgan the Mighty wants this sword, and he's done the things to kind of get it. But it's also some clan of bandits laid claim or to this sword. I forget exactly what they were. Some kind of bandits or whatever kind of clan they were. So this big giant chieftain, it's kind of like almost like Mad Max. This guy just all decked out in all this armor and crazy junk. And so we've been building up to this moment for weeks where Durgan was going to fight the chieftain of this clan for possession of the sword. This is kind of what Joe was thinking was going to happen. And as the stars aligned and we did particular things, it seemed like this was going to happen. And Joe was like, this will be cool. So we're actually over at another dude's house. We're not playing at Moe's that day. And so Joe has this kind of planned out. This is going to be an epic grand scene. And remember, Mark was quiet. Mark did not talk a lot. He had some he had some things going on, but Mark was a great guy. So Joe brings in a cassette player. You remember cassette players? Pretty sure it was a cassette. Plonks it down. I think Joe may have owned one of the last cassette players on Earth. Could have been his DVD or CD player. I think it was cassette. Plonks it down. We get to the point where we're going to have this epic battle. I end up playing the part of the chieftain of this tribe of bandits. And so he presses play, and it's playing the Conan theme music, from the original movie. Dun 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 dun. So, and Joe has this scripted, long, great, flowery speech by the bandit chieftain talking about how, for generations they've laid claim to this sword and they're protectors of some, whatever the hell it was. It was great. It was this, 2 or 3 minute flowery speech, breastfeeding the whole 9 yards. It was great. So then turns to Mark. It's like, okay, what do you want to say to this guy? And we all just kind of sit back. And Mark looks around. Remember, Mark was quiet. Mark did not talk very much at all. Mark said, I killed that guy. And he did. It was brilliant. That normal place. He looks around. And he finally looks up and he goes, the sword is mine. Dead silence. Dead silence. I mean, Joe, the music's going on in the background. Joe was expecting this big giant, I don't know why he was expecting it. He was expecting this big giant flowery speech. Nothing. And finally Joe, look, it had to be 30 seconds. Joe finally says, that's it? Anything else? Mark looks around a little bit more and goes, and you can't have it. And the battle was joined. And of course Mark kicked this guy's butt, but it was quite the epic fight. So yeah, planning epic moments. Know who your players are. Don't expect them to go the way you planned. And above all, the story is what happened. It's not what you planned. And that's a hell of a story. Some of the other players and I, we miss Mark. We still laugh about that to this day because that was epic. That was the epic moment. What the characters did. Have a good one.